Bustin' Balls is back. Welcome back to the show live here on Twitch. If you're listening in, you need to do something better with your life. This is a podcast about a Staten Island softball team, and we talk about the happenings of the Ballbusters, two-time fall champions. But I'm talking now with a multi-time champion, more than twice. I believe it's a four-time Samson League champion, Matt
Yes,
Tooker.
sir.
What's
Yes,
up, Matt? How
sir.
you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I look outside. It's slushy as fuck. It's gross out. I mean, you just came back from a Hawaiian vacation, so I don't feel as bad for you. But it just it's putting me in this mood to be like, fuck, I can't wait to get to that time when I'm behind the plate, catching games, Ox is blowing calls behind me. I just fast forward me to that time. So let's talk about it. We'll get right into it. It's another season of Ballbusters softball coming up. You have been playing in this league for a very, very, very long time. The No Limit Royals, the Royals, Pegasus, play with a bunch of teams, man. But for argument's sake, do you think this past fall 2021 Ballbusters team was the best team that you have ever taken the field with?
I do. I think from start to finish, when we'll go back to the end of spring season last year when we were sitting in the bleachers right after the game when
Yep.
we started to construct the team right there.
We've
And
been
right
waiting.
from the start, I was hearing the names being tossed out like, yeah, this is pretty good squad. And then
Mhm.
not knowing some of the guys like Tess and watching him step on the field for the first game, I knew he was going to fit in right away.
Absolutely. I remember you even threw it out. Like I was away for opening day in the fall season, and I made a call out to you. I was like, hey, what's the haps? What happened with the games? First person you mentioned, Joe Tess. Joe Rivera. What a fucking season that kid had for us. And he was great at the position. And that's the one thing, I feel like this team has always had a good history at that shortstop position. Even if it was only one person able to play it, we've always had a good history with guys. We talk about guys like Everett and Ciancio and Carmine Sperto, who's played that position over time. So yeah, we've had a rich history at that. But that fall 21 team was something else, man. And for you, you've been around this league for so damn long. So what? I guess just more of a ball buster note, but what keeps you coming back and just playing softball every year?
Just the get me out of the house on Sunday morning. Hang out with the guys, and this year even more especially, we brought the victory beers, and honestly, even if we lost, we still had victory beers. So that was the camaraderie that I was looking for. It gets me
Oh
out of the
yes.
house from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. It was great. Just a great thing to do on a Sunday. It's a good way to reset the rest of the week.
Oh, definitely. I agree with that. I've been playing what now? Oh my god. I started back in 2011. My first team ever was with Joe Puglisi. It was the Metro Blind Shade Cleaning team.
Mm,
We were horrible. And as such, it was a first year team for a lot of first year guys. And look at us. I mean, we won two championships over a 10-year span, just trying to build that team up. And I think we really kind of got things going in the fall of 2016, where prior to that, you had the Royals, and that team kind of became a combination. And you can correct me if I'm wrong here. It became a combination of kind of what the best of the spring Sunday Ballbusters and the Royals team. And then 2016 rolled around, and you and I and John kind of spoke on, hey, like, let's just start off from scratch here with this team. Let's try to figure out who we want. And we added all these good pieces here. But you were once the manager of this team for a long time. Led the 2017 team to a champion. That's hard to say. You led the fall 2017 team to a championship. Uh, so why step down from the position? I mean, you could throw me under the bus, I guess, if you really wanted to, but you went from a position of management to almost like, I almost want to call you like a senior advisor slash bench coach slash player. How has that transition been? And like, yeah, just this, I guess, talk on that.
Honestly, I just wanted to play. I didn't want to come down and worry about setting a lineup, collecting fees, and doing all that, or worrying about 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, who's missing, who's coming down.
Mhm.
Um, and honestly, Rich, you're the perfect guy for it. You live and breathe for softball, and you love it. And when you were with me on the 2017 team, you were my right hand guy. So
I
honestly, I knew the
appreciate
team
that.
would be in good hands when you took it over.
And I appreciate it. So I don't look forward to the 2 a.m. calls on Saturdays. I mean, those still kind of suck. But we actually we had a less and less of that as the 2021 year went on. I think more in the spring. Obviously, we had a bunch of guys that were first year guys for the team, and people have lives at the end of the day. And we knew like, oh man, like maybe we should carry a little bit more. And we went into the fall season and said, even though it's a shortened year, let's carry a little extra guys. It doesn't hurt. And still, there are days where we were calling down guys like Pete and Danny before they became full-time players on the team. So yeah, it is definitely. I agree with you. It is probably the least fun part of the gig. But yes, overall, I enjoy it. I think especially when it comes down to, I guess, putting a team in and putting a team together, you just care about fucking winning. And even if it means self-sacrifice at the end of the day and leading by example, which honestly, and you and I have had conversations about it, one-on-one. I take a lot of inspiration from you yourself, being, setting that example and saying like, hey, like, if it comes down to it, it's going to fall on me first before I fucking, start throwing people on the bench or start saying, hey, like I'm gonna have to limit your playing time for the better half. Like you led by example, and I was always inspired by that, and I always loved that about you when you were running the team. So, and still to this day, very self-sacrificial you are, and when you shouldn't, you have every right to be out there, no matter how big or how small the game's important is, and you do such a great job in keeping everybody together, and that's what we kind of speak on, like everybody has a role in this team, regardless of what position you play, regardless of how much playing time you get or don't get. Everybody played a role in this team. And if you weren't there for that championship ride both times around, you don't have that support system. And just hearing your voice in the dugout, hearing you kind of go up to the guys and say, hey, don't hang your head on the last at bat. Like you led by example still to this day. And I appreciate that. I mean, that's why I love having you on this team. And I was your right hand man. You are my right hand man in this go around. So I thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, yeah. No, I always like to consider myself as that leader in the clubhouse, I should say, and always be there to support the troops. And like I said, even though we had all these guys all year, I played almost every game the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
And then we said all year we knew the mission was to win the championship, and sacrifices had to be made, and never bothered me because the goal was achieved.
Yes, and the goal was achieved, a fourth Samson championship for Matt Tucker. The 2022 season, even though it's February 3rd right now, if you're watching live, um, it's it's crazy because this winter always drags, but at the same time, you also know that season's just like right around the corner. It's right there, for the taking. So what are you looking forward to most with the 2022 team? Obviously, the roster, even though it hasn't been fully announced yet on Instagram. The roster. What are you looking forward to the most?
Playing with the same group of guys again. I
Hmm.
think this is the first time ever where I'm playing in one season and just carrying over the same team. Maybe add one or two to the mix, but we're not subtracting any. And that's I don't think that's ever happened in my I've been playing since 2009. I don't think it's ever happened since then.
Yeah, I'm excited. To improve a championship roster is tough because I don't think we've ever like had that. Even when we won in 2017, like how do you improve a championship roster? And yet, I felt like with the moves we have made that haven't been announced yet, we improved the championship roster.
Yeah.
So we're excited, and as long as everybody is on board what we have going on, it's going to be a magical year for this team. Year, not just a season. It's going to be a great 2022. I definitely feel
I couldn't agree more. And I'll let you know now. In about a month from now, I bet you will be getting those texts. Let's go have a catch. Let's get the
it.
let's get some infield going.
I love it. And nothing like and I got this from you too. And you and Joe Puglisi, the IS-24 spring training tradition, because it used to be, we used to get together. For those of you who don't know, we used to get together when Joe had his former team Pegasus, and we had this Ballbusters / Royals kind of group, and we would do like a scrimmage at the schoolyard. And this schoolyard, by the way, was so small. It was a bandbox. It was, if you're a left-handed hitter, you could poke it over the right field fence. If you're a righty, it was great because you kind of had that fence feel. It wasn't as deep as like Egbert, but it's a fun tradition. I love going to IS-24 and now IS-75 as well to get some spring training in, and hopefully it comes sooner than later. Matt, that's really it, man. I appreciate your time. And let's get this ship 2022.
Let's get it.
All right, man. Thank you.